So, guys, you know, remember when I was asked some time ago, a couple of you were asking me about, this is going to be juicy. Trisha Paytas, you've been asking me, oh, can you imagine? When a couple of months ago she said she bought the bird cage, the Chanel Métier d'Art bird cage, and she didn't even ask the sales associate how much it cost. She was scared to ask how much it cost. And we addressed that in one of the Channel Talk videos. And so you've been asking me like, look at that. What's going on now is maybe connected to what's going on now with Trisha Paytas might be connected to the fear she had of asking the price for the Chanel birdcage, which is like what, 20, $30,000. It's insane. Um, so now, just a disclaimer, I don't talk on my channel about gossip and I don't go into the whole drama situation. But when it comes to Chanel, you best believe I'm gonna. When it comes, when it comes to also when it comes to not just Chanel, but when it comes to people feeling uncomfortable to ask a price for something in a shop, well, that's when I'm called to action. I've also been called to action once when it comes to Jeffree Star, and that was when he cut with a flaming sword through a bag, and I found that vile and disgusting. Since then, he's been out of my book, so this has been years already, and I've been done. But now that I figured out with the whole situation going on with Trisha at the moment, um, what she's been saying about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, how they've treated her in her Las Vegas trip, I've seen the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, the fact that I figured out that, oh, so she didn't ask for the price in a Chanel boutique for a really expensive bag because she was conditioned and had complexes because of how Jeffree and the little mongrels, his little minions, treated her and made her feel. And this is then connected to what I always say, that tragedy when people try to tell you that if you have to ask for a price of something, that means you can't afford it. That is bull shit. You best believe I can ask whatever the hell I want to ask because it's a question. It's legitimate. They made her feel bad for asking for a price. So since then, she feels conditioned to never ask for a price. I'm with Trisha on this. Like, honestly, don't feel bad about this. Trisha, I mean, you have to step out of that. Don't be afraid. Why is it that America is so freaking obsessed with money? It's like your whole value as a human being is only attached to the money you earn. That is sick. It is vile. It has nothing to do with humanity. It has nothing to do with decency and kindness. Nothing. And it's usually those douchebags, usually the new rich, like that Oompa Loompa star, who, have no freaking clue how to handle the money that they just earned, that behave like total tools. Total freaking tools of society. And what they end up doing is ruining other people around them that look up to them. It's a rotten apple to the core, and everybody else around them gets their poison off of them, becomes rotten because they're rotting to the core. You know how it is when you put a rotting apple amidst healthy apples? The healthy apples are not going to heal the rotten apple. The rotten apple is going to damage all the apples around it, and they're all going to perish, and they're all going to become as foul as that rotting mofo in the middle. And I'm glad that Trisha finally speaks up about this because, sure, you can judge her for whatever was done in the past, blah, blah, blah. But what is happening now, today, is somebody with a certain following finally speaking out about the sick attitude, the vile attitude of certain people and how they manipulate everybody around them and how they judge everybody around them and how they do not have half a positive, decent word to spend about anybody, but only shit and poison about everybody. I ask myself, why do these people keep getting a platform? And I have an answer to that. We're going to go back in time a little bit to the Roman times. Now, you know I've mentioned this in my past videos and also my Instagram channel, but the Colosseum, which was the heart, depiction of games and divertissement for the plebeians, for the poor classes. They would watch the gladiators kill each other. Gladiators were slaves. Yes, they were cheered upon and they were heroes to many, but they were slaves that were forced to fight. The gladiator that kills the other gladiator wins. The one that dies, dies. Tough luck. Panem et circenses. That's what it means. It means bread and circus. Give it to the poor folk to satiate their thirst of blood because they're so discontent about the people who are in power, about the reigning class, who keep sucking them dry of taxes and all their money. So they're so discontent against the reigning class. So the reigning class, as manipulative as it is, invented the whole concept of let's get all these poor people, poor folk together, seat them around two people fighting each other to death. You're going to satiate them of their bloodthirst. So they're going to go home more relaxed, and the next day they're going to be more ready to serve their owners. Owners, because the system owns you. Okay? That's the concept of this going back in time, reliving this panem et circenses over and over and over again. You know, modern day gladiators, modern day killings and slashings and bashings of each other. Dreadful. Dreadful. I have my live chatters here with us in the studio, actually. So let's see what you guys think about this whole situation. Emilio says, poor Trisha. I feel bad for her. So glad Ethan stood up for her. Just another Roger says, that Chanel birdcage story astounds me. Yeah. Heidelberger says, Jeffree Star is disgusting in general. Duh. Yeah. Daniel said, I never forgave Jeffree for attacking that bag. For killing that bag. Brandon says, if Jeffree Star had a fragrance, it would smell like a dumpster mixed with moldy candy. Brandon says, just joking. Daniel says, I feel for Trisha. I want to hug her. I do too. I do too. I really do. That whole mean girl attitude that they did to her, the whole Vegas story, treating her like they did, not having a bit of decency and heart to show nothing, making fun of everything that's... How poor. Girl, you can have the billions on the bank account, but when you are homeless in the soul, when you do not have a single penny in your soul, all that money in the bank means nothing. Nothing. Not one single thing. If you are penniless in your soul, and you are, and you can feed that empty void and stash and shove in by the bucket load the money, you'll never fill that emptiness you have inside. Never, never. You will always remain poor inside. Remember that. Brandon says, Jeffree Star plus Kanye West, relationship goals. In an asylum. Robert says, never heard of those people, LOL. Good for you, Robert. You're lucky. Amelia says, look it up, Audrey. It's on YouTube. That's so Madonna of you. Fashionista in La Playa says, yeah, I saw the Trisha scandal too. It's awful. Isn't it awful, Fashionista in La Playa? It's awful. Brandon says, America is psychotic. Here, here. Audrey says, I've never heard of some of these people. You're also lucky, Audrey. Good for you. Lie to Me 101. It's just YouTube trash, royalty trash. Literally, YouTube royalty trash. Lie to Me 101 says, the way these people treated Trisha makes me sick. I'm pissed I ever bought Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Don't ever, good for you, Lie to Me. Good that you woke up. Good. I'm proud of you. Candy Fluff says, Chanel is a store, not a frickin' religion. They sell things. Things have prices. Exactly, Candy Fluff. Exactly. And everybody has, you just go and it's fine. It's totally fine to ask for the price. Doesn't mean you can't afford it. Doesn't mean you can't afford it. Absolutely doesn't mean you can't afford it. Does not mean you can't afford it. Brandon says brainwashing the rest of the world. Yeah. Here, here, says Frau Emily 1. Brandon says selfish, greedy, and evil devil worshippers. Oh, the shade. Brandon says, and I'm an American. Heidelberger says, I also don't like asking for prices. It's like a giveaway that you are poor. That is not true, Heidelberger. No, 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 no. That is not true. That is so not true. And whoever tells you that is feeding into that sick to the core system where money is being praised as if it were a god. Money is not a god. You give power to the money because you decide to allow money to reign your world. You decide to give power to a system where money is given power. Money is a piece of paper. Okay? This is toilet paper I have here. If you and I both decide that this, if I give you this, you give me a house in return, then we have both agreed that this piece of toilet paper has power. But if you and I both agree that this cannot give you a house, okay, this cannot get you a loaf of bread, then this all of a sudden doesn't have the power anymore. Same applies to money. Same thing. It's just a concept. It's just a concept our society is run on. So, what? How many of these toilet papers do I need to give you for the house or for the loaf of bread? Oh, wait, I'm not allowed to ask you that because that means I don't have enough toilet paper to afford the loaf of bread. No, maybe I just need to know so that I know how much I have to give you. That doesn't mean I'm poor. And also, again, maybe I'm going to tell you, you know what? I'm not going to give you toilet paper for the loaf of bread. I prefer to give you a notebook for a loaf of bread. Or I prefer to give you some of the milk that I produce for that loaf of bread. That's fine too. You should read an interesting book called The Death of Money. Very, very interesting book. Look it up. Brandon says, asking for a price is an honest question. Shame on them for making her feel guilty. For making her feel ashamed of herself. Shame on them. Shame on them. Yeah, Robert is like, Heidelberger, are you serious? Candy Fluff says, good old symbolic violence at work, right? Brandon says, it's like, oh, where is it now? Sorry, I missed the... Oh, Heidelberger says, only the ones that don't support... Oh, okay, well, anyway. Family says, so true. People are like apples. Never thought about it, but it's true. I'm telling you, family, one rotten apple is not going to get healed by the healthy ones around it. That's not how it works in nature. That's not how it works in nature. The one rotten apple is going to mess up all the other ones, not the other way around. See it this way. You got a whole bowl of water, clean, fresh, healthy water. One drop of urine is going to mess up the entire, not the other way around. One drop of water in a bucket of urine, it ain't going to make the urine turn to water. But one drop of urine in the bucket of water is going to infect and going to poison the entire bucket of water. So, that's the legacy of Jeffree Star. That's his legacy. And what? Somebody dare speak up about him, then he comes for them? With what? With the money? The minions following him? You can't come after me if your soul is empty, because you don't have the strength. Because your soul does not have the strength. Because the soul is what's poor. The soul is what's messed up. It's as easy as that. It's like when Oprah went into Louis Vuitton in Italy, says Brendan. Yeah, and they like looked at her like, you can't afford this, girl. Yes, that was a terrible moment. Poor Oprah in that case, really. Yeah. Emilio says, Trisha is very honest, open, and raw. She's definitely problematic, or at least has been in the past. For sure she is. For sure everybody can be. But she comes across as very, very honest. Very, very... Like Pete Burns speaks her mind. What comes to her mind, she speaks it out. I'm the type of person who can handle that. I can deal with that very well. What I cannot deal with is lies and backstabbing. And I figure it out. Let me tell you, this is one of the situations I had at a work place a couple of days ago. I was typing something into a computer in this big space, and there was this one person. I'm not going to give this person a gender or anything. When that person started talking, I just saw that person for the first time, because I was, I was doing my fashion gigs as an external, so I, do them all over the place. So anyway, this person comes in, starts talking. I feel immediately that this person wants to be bossy, but can't really deliver, and is, and by the way, I had nothing to do with the team of that person. I'm just doing my own business, okay? Just to let you know, that person has nothing to do with me. Anyway, that person has this attitude, comes into the room, you see, takes kind of charge and says, I'm going to open the windows now. Is everybody fine with me opening the windows just to bring a little bit of fresh air? Because, of the pandemic, and, you got to air every now and then. And before even letting anybody say if they are too cold or not, this person proceeded with opening all the windows. And I was like, oh, that's that kind of person. So I bet this person, who didn't listen for our answers, whether or not we are too cold or whatever, already opened the windows. It was a rhetorical question. Do you mind me opening the window? Oh, they're already open before I even finished the question. Fine. I bet you my left arm and my left leg that this, I'm not going to say it on YouTube, is going to then do whatever this person does, and then is going to try to make one of us close them later on. Not with me. And in fact, what happened? 15 minutes later, this person tried to make me close the window. And this person has never met me. This person just heard my friends and colleagues say my name and talk to me. So this person learned my name from them indirectly. This person dared call me out by my name. Mind you, I'm still typing on my computer. And I hear, Dacob. Dacob? Dacob. And I'm like, bitch, if you say my name a fourth time, I'm going to slam you psychologically against the wall. You're going to regret having woken up today, because I'm going to give you a piece of me. It felt like this person realized that I was not responsive at all. I was ignoring this person because I knew that it was going to be like, could you please close the window? I'm like, you opened it without even asking, really. So you close it now. I'm busy. How dare you? Typical attitude of like, can you do it? No. Assume freaking responsibility. So this person stands up, smashes the window, upset that I wasn't reacting. And I was like, you haven't seen nothing yet. I just keep typing. Then my colleague comes from another room and says, Dacob, Dacob, how's it going? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's going just fine. Thank you. So that other person that wanted to ask me to close the window, realized that actually that really, that is the name. So they didn't get the name wrong. And we're like shocked, like, why was he not responsive to me? And I'm like, because you're not the boss of nobody. If I can see right through you, and what I see through you is dirt, you will not get any interaction out of me, because you don't deserve it. You do not deserve it. You do not deserve any energy from me. And this is something I'm telling you, you should do with everybody in your lives. Get the filth out of your way. Get it out of your way. Don't let these baboons that can parade the money in your eyes make you believe that they're worth more than you. They're not. They never will be, and they never were. So don't let them influence you. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them do anything. Don't answer to them. Ignore them. That's the best way. They are powerless when they get no interaction out of you. They are powerless when there is absolutely nothing coming back. Whatever they spew out, you just don't give anything back to them. Then all of a sudden, the bully is powerless. And all their paper money just burns to ashes. It means nothing anymore because you don't give in that power anymore. MK says, sorry, but this Trisha girl is dumb too. Why would she even play their stupid mind game? I bet she has more money than those dumb sales associates. Oh, why is she playing the game of the sales associates? Because her so-called friends from back then really made her feel bad about herself because they are millionaires. Well, one of them is, and are trying to make her feel like she can't afford anything. They made fun of her because she's living in a rented apartment while they are living in mansions and villas, and oh, she doesn't have the money to buy her own house. I'm like, oh my God, if that is even an issue for you, if that is a criteria for you to judge other people, again, I can only repeat myself, then you are dead inside. You have no soul. You're poor in the soul. You're rich in the bank, but you're poor in the soul. People value money a lot, says Fashionista in La Playa. People value money a lot in the US because if you don't have money in the US, you don't have access to good healthcare, housing, education, etc. Money in the US is important. Money is important because the US gave money that power, Fashionista in La Playa. There are countries in the world where actually health insurance is free. So it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Brandon says, poor Trisha is screwed up as most of us. We need help as a society. Thank you, Brandon. That's a very good point. We as a society, that is a beautiful, you put it in such an elegant way. We as a society, we need help. And this, reading between the lines of your comment means, we as a society, it's about unity. It's about realizing that we are in this together. There is no separation. We are connected. We are all connected, and everything is connected. Everything is one line. And if you start believing in this, yeah, but I got the millions, you don't, so I'm better than you, you've lost. And actually, we've all lost as a society because that's what makes it rot to the core. Laurie says, I've never heard of Trisha until a few weeks ago. The drama surrounding them is toxic, and I won't have it in my life. Look at the platform that the former president got. We're very well said, Lori. Robert says, I feel sorry, man. There ain't nothing wrong with asking the price. Exactly, Robert. You're right. You're right. Daniel says, yes, I have noticed the connection between the Colosseum and the worst microbes on YouTube. Oh, totally. 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 Debbie says, Trisha doesn't have the self-confidence, but she is growing a pair, it seems. I think so, too. Just Another Roger says, I don't even watch those people anymore. It's like seeing a bloody arena and they are all enjoying bathing in their own juice. Yeah, there's also a lot of self-celebration going on there, which is really sickening in a bad way. Not sickly, not sickening, actually. Heidelberger says, well, if you go to Chanel, you have an idea of the prices. And the sales associates know that rich people don't care about the price. Yeah, but the rich people alone don't... The rich people alone, the sales associate, a good sales associate knows this as well. The rich people alone do not maintain the existence of Chanel. Rich people alone do not pay for Chanel to survive. It's everybody together that allows Chanel to strive and survive. You know what I mean? And you won't be rich. This is another thing. Rich people care about their finances. If you're rich, you won't be rich for long if you don't take care of your finances. There's a fundamental difference here between squandering your fortune and planning out. Very big difference. And who are we talking about? The new rich who just want a logo on their bag? Yeah, those are going to want to prove to the sales associates that they can afford, because they know they're trash. They know they're trash. So they're going to want to prove to the sales associate, I'm not trash. Look, I'm not even asking you for the price because I can afford it. Yeah, girl, you're still trash. You're still trash to the core. On the other hand, poised and elegant, saying, this bag is interesting. How much is it? I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of if it's worth it or not. Not you. My money. I'll be the judge of that. That bag looks interesting. How much is it? $10,000? That bag is not worth $10,000. I don't want it. I'm better than that bag. You see what I mean? That's the difference. Emilio says, you cannot have confidence around toxic and super manipulative narcissistic freaks. Some of them are literal sociopaths. It's really scary. It is very scary. Heidelberger says, so they make you feel like you're poor if you ask for the price. Well, if they're stupid, they're going to try to make you feel like you're poor. But if somebody tries to do that with me, best believe I'm going to tell him, excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so working in this shop, did you just try to make me feel bad about asking you the price of this piece? Okay, you did. So may I ask you, why are you working here? You're working here out of pleasure? Are you working here for free because you don't need the money? Or are you actually here now serving me because you do need the money to pay your rent? You do need the money to pay your rent. Ah, interesting. So why are you making me feel like you have so much money and that you're appalled that I dare ask you for how much this product costs, that you're selling me because you need the money to pay your rent? You see the logic or lack thereof? Daniel says, I don't live much among the wealthiest class. However, when I have encountered them, I have noticed that they do ask for prices always. Of course they do. Of course they do. The people that have money for generations, they're very, very thoughtful about how they spend. That's why they maintain the money. Homeless in the soul. Words, says Debbie. Tatiana says, hi, I'm back. Oh no, Trisha, Jeffree Star, I'm hearing. Yeah. Um, Tatiana says, YouTube royalty trash. For real, haha. Totally, totally. It can't get more trash than YouTube royalty trash. Just when we thought that reality TV, the Kardashians and the whole, no, it gets worse. It gets worse. There's even more rotten and worse than that. And that is YouTube reality TV. YouTube, reality YouTube. Whatever the hell you want to call it. It's even worse than reality TV. YouTube royalty trash. Yeah, guys, it doesn't sink lower than that. Just another artist says, when they say no man is an island, I don't believe that. I have never been more happier and tranquil since I've been away from people that resonates, Jeffree, or even those that play the victim. Well said, just another Roger. Emilio says, asking for price means you're poor? Oh God. No, it doesn't, Emilio. No, Justin Roger says, no, I ask for the price. Yeah, exactly. Rich Mitch says, FFS. MK says, I don't mind asking for the price at Chanel or Hermes. I don't mind saying I cannot afford something when too expensive there. And the essays don't give an S neither and perfectly understand. Of course they do. They know very well that everything is overpriced anyway. It's all fake. Everything is constructed. It's smoke. It's just smoke, you guys. It's just smoke. It's just a concept manipulating you into believing it's worth something that it's not. Brenda says, those who think they rule the world don't have a pot to pee in. Just another Roger says, I don't allow a boutique to make me feel any lesser of a human. I ask. They give the answer. I buy or I don't. It's all up to me. Not asking was never a standard. Who is the stupid arse who started that? David says, Dacob is intense. Oh, Dacob can be... You haven't seen nothing yet. And I fight for my friends and family to the core. Always. With me, there's no... When I see injustices like this happen, I speak up. Always. I will not be silenced. I will not be silenced about this because this is unjust and unfair. Daniel in the Antipode says, read Mrs. Parkington by Louis Bromfield, a novel from the 1940s. It has interesting thoughts about money. David says, I love it. The intense take-up. Mime Louis says, my parents grew up very poor and until now they can't go inside into a luxury boutique because they think they aren't worthy of being in there. I'm Louis. I know that very well, and that has to change. They should not feel bad. Tatiana says, Jeffree Star is everything wrong with fame plus money. Debbie says, preach, Dacob. MK says, I have a piece of advice that always works, at least here in Paris. Just be yourself, polite, and you'll be treated fairly. That's beautiful. Simple, but to the point. Heidelberger says, it doesn't work in Germany. What, asking for a price? Oh, being polite? I mean, lie to me 101. If I think something isn't worth a price, it doesn't matter if I can afford it or not. I'm not buying it. Exactly. That's exactly the point. Very well said. You brought it to the point, lie to me 101. Exactly the point. Even if I can afford it, but I don't think it's worth it, you best believe I'm going to tell you, you want that much for that? Girl, you must think I'm crazy. Yeah. Audrey says it's nice to be nice. It is nice, and it really pays off on a human and emotional level, because you give a smile, you ask somebody how they're doing, you just a polite gesture, you're going to get so much positive energy in return. That's the beauty of it all. That's why I keep saying we are all connected. If you're mean to somebody, you're just going to get meanness in return, negative energy in return. It's not going to help you long term. Your soul is just going to rot to the core even more. Heidelberger says, you will be treated like trash if you don't behave or look like money. In Germany? Because you were speaking about Germany. I mean, I don't know. But I would speak up in that case. I would tell them, who the hell do you think you are? Daniel says, I don't often go into luxury boutiques, yet the better essays never fail to make me feel welcome. They know that I may not buy a lot, but I am polite, I hope, and respectful of them and the items. Emilio says, but Jeffree knows what it's like to be poor. Wasn't he blowing... blowing balloons in Hollywood for $5? Allegedly. Stupid Lover says, I'm so sick of Jeffree and his minions doing people dirty and uploading no more drama, never doing this again videos, and yet again bashing others 2 seconds later. Very well said. That's exactly the shtick. It's like an abusive relationship. Your abusive partner says, I'm sorry that I hit you, never again. The next day they hit you again. And you keep staying because you're crazy, because you think they're going to change. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. Caleb says, I think it just depends on the type of person shopping. Some whip out the Amex, the American Express, and don't question, while some do. I don't think it matters either way, as long as you're actually purchasing something. Listen, I don't always go to my favorite boutique to always buy something. Sometimes I go in just to say, hey, the new collection arrived. Let me see what's happening, what's popping. Then I'll make up my mind. Then I'm going to let it all sink in. I need a couple of days to figure out what is my favorite piece. Because I also don't want to overspend. I don't need so much. From time to time, a little something to enlighten your mood is enough. We have everything. You guys, we have more than we need. We're good. So everything that is purchased is just a little on top. Literally. So I want my time. I want to feel the collection. I want to feel what it has to offer me, how it inspires me, how the textiles, how the textures feel. And then I'm going to go back into me, and then I'll come back again and maybe buy something or not if nothing inspires me. But you can't expect me, as long as you buy. No, I bought in the past. I'll buy in the future. Maybe today I'm not in the mood to buy. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? If you're going to judge me for that, then we're done here. I mean, in the stores. Heidelberger says, however, the biggest disappointment was Tati. I used to think she is the only genuine YouTube guru, but boy, was I wrong. No. David says, and shaming someone for asking a price at a boutique. Oh my God. Amina says, these life lessons you are sharing with us are priceless. Thank you, Amina. Yeah, what else do we have? David says people should not be shamed for questions. True, unless the question isn't repeated 50,000 times. Like the same person repeats the same question. At one point you're like, you asked me that already. Scrolling through. Daniel says Chanel does not make its major profits from the couture dresses, which only the wealthiest buy, nor the bags, which the reasonably wealthy buy. Of course, they make their money mostly with all of the money that the lower income gives them. constantly by buying a lipstick here, a perfume there, a nail polish here. Millions of people buy those little pieces. That's where the money comes in. But only maybe 10 or 100 tops buy the haute couture dresses. That alone does not make a company wealthy. Heidelberger says, best example is the scene in Pretty Woman. It's still like that in boutiques. Well, I would not go to those boutiques. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't give them the minute of the day. A sales associate at Chanel making you feel bad about asking for prices is funny because their salary is less than what a Chanel costs. Exactly. That's what I meant before when I was talking about them having to pay their rent too. Yeah. Just another Roger says, I agree with you, Dacob, about finances. A concrete plan for the future is vital. As long as I prioritize my shelter, food, and healthcare, I am happy. Just another Roger. I would use the sales associate concept if their salary versus their sassy words. But I just want to get away from that. We all know we are already better than them when they start the foul attitude. Daniel says, TV has some sort of supervision in the form of TV executives who at least don't want to be sued. YouTube creators have minimal supervision, so they do anything they want, no restraints. Yeah, but they can be sued too. Daniel says, yes, which is why I would not buy a Chanel bag now, even if I won the lottery. The value is not there anymore. Just another artist is only addressed to the essays with awful attitude. There are still so many that take their career seriously and are nice and welcoming. Anyway, it was an interesting topic, you guys. Just wanted to kind of touch base on that. I hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of drama, YouTube drama. Why not? You know what I mean? Because it was necessary to do. Necessary to mention, because I don't believe that anybody should be bullied that way, and I stand up for people who are bullied like that because that's ridiculous and it should not be happening, and we the people should not be giving power to those bullies who think that just because they got money are allowed to be arseholes to others. No, they're not, and don't give them the power to be. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do thumb it up. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And, you know, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thumb up this video. And you can also push the join button next to the subscription button to become a member today and get extra perks in the Fashion Bunker. You can also join me on Patreon. Super Dacob all spelled together on Patreon. There you get to see a huge archive, because I've been on Patreon for several years, of many videos that are not available on YouTube. You can also join me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Super Dacob all spelled together. You can also join me on my Chanel Instagram profiles that I curate. One is called Coco Chanel is in my house, dedicated to my Chanel collection, but also everything going on with Chanel these days. You can also follow me on Coco Chanel Privé, all spelled together, where I talk about Coco's life when she was alive, leading up until 1971 when she passed away. So you get to see photos of her from her life, the works that she did, the clothes that she made, the perfumes that she made, the advertisements that she made, which were really beautiful. I mean, the aesthetic back then was just way more curated, elegant, sophisticated, thought through, and thought-provoking than it is today, for sure. So that's definitely something interesting to observe, how the 50s, the 60s, the 40s, well, the 40s, she didn't work in the 40s, the 30s, the 20s were, and the 10s, as opposed to this whirlwind of shit of a hole we live in today, aesthetically speaking. So there's that. These are the wonderful patrons, the super chats we received in this live stream, the members, all listed there. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Tati G says, thank you, Dacob. Love chatting and listening to everyone here. Thank you, Tati, for joining in. Mia says, girl, I look like a hobo from the 1800s. What is you talking about? You look fabulous, darling. You look like a new age punk / goth, which is amazing. Sometimes goth, sometimes not, obviously. David says, people are ashamed when they don't have a certain economical standard, and that has to change, you guys. Just saying. But until that doesn't change, the only way that we can work towards that change is by never giving up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.